you don't. You're not a housewife. You see, when you first get married, you can withhold sex. But then they get to like that.
She made millions laugh as Peggy Bundy, the loud, lazy, leopard print queen of Married with Children. But behind the big hair and punchlines, Katey Sagal's real life was filled with pain, loss, and secrets the cameras never showed. Early in her career, she struggled with addiction, something that spiraled out of control before she even saw it coming. What caused it? And what did it nearly destroy? And while her real-life pregnancy was written into the show, what happened off-screen was heartbreaking. What viewers saw wasn't the truth, and the reality still haunts her. Years of balancing chaotic roles, failed marriages, and non-stop work took their toll. She's admitted she needed therapy to deal with it all. The question is, what pushed her that far? Addiction, grief, and a reality far heavier than the comedy. Everything you didn't know about Katey Sagal is in this video. Stick around. Part 1. Role in Married with Children and Cultural Impact. When Katey Sagal slipped into the skin-tight leopard print and teased her red hair to the sky, she wasn't just playing a sitcom wife. She was creating a cultural disruptor. As Peggy Bundy, she shattered the mold of the wholesome, apron-wearing TV mom and replaced it with something louder, funnier, and defiantly flawed. Peggy didn't cook, she didn't clean. She chain-smoked, watched game shows, and demanded her husband's paycheck before he even took off his shoes. And yet, behind her eye rolls and biting sarcasm, there was a warped kind of loyalty. A woman who, despite everything, stuck it out. Peggy was equal parts outrageous and oddly relatable. She wasn't maternal in the traditional sense, but she had a kind of power. A woman surviving suburbia on her own unapologetic terms. For many viewers, she was a revelation. Critics didn't always know what to make of her, but audiences caught on quickly. This wasn't your mother's sitcom, and Peggy Bundy was no one's background character. Over the years, she became one of television's most unforgettable comic creations. Her walk, her voice, her very presence, she left an imprint that sitcoms still echo today. But to understand how Sagal gave Peggy her edge, it helps to look at where she came from and what shaped the woman behind the role. Part 2. Early life before Married with Children. Catherine Louise Sagal was born on January 19, 1954, in Hollywood, California, a place steeped in show business, though her early life was far from the glitz. Her father, Boris Sagal, was a television director. Her mother, Sarah Zwilling, a singer-turned-TV writer. But their home, while artistically rich, carried undercurrents of emotional distance. Her mother died of heart disease when Katey was just 21, and her father would later die in a tragic helicopter accident, deepening the layers of loss that would shape her adulthood. She grew up in a creative but complicated household. Big family, high expectations, and a sense that emotions were best kept beneath the surface. Katey was expressive, inwardly intense, and drawn to performance early on. She found her refuge in music, singing harmonies with her siblings and disappearing into melodies as a way to manage the chaos around her. At school, she was quiet but soulful. She gravitated toward literature, lyrics, and the kinds of stories that didn't always end happily. By the time she was a teenager, the creative spark had become something deeper, something that demanded to be followed. The stage, the mic, the lights, it wasn't about fame. It was about survival. That sense of survival followed her as she entered the industry, not just as a performer, but as someone determined to carve out her space on her own terms. If you're enjoying this so far, take a second to like the video. It really helps more people find these stories. And if you haven't yet, hit that subscribe button. There's so much more to uncover. Part 3. Career before and after Married with Children. Before Peggy Bundy made her a household name, Katey Sagal had already carved out a solid, if mostly behind-the-scenes, career. Her early years were spent on stage and in recording studios. She sang backup for Bette Midler and toured with Bob Dylan. Music, not acting, was her first profession. But as the years unfolded, she began to land television roles, supporting characters that hinted at her range and hinted at the boldness to come. When Married with Children came along, Sagal was still relatively unknown in the acting world, but she brought something no one expected. Instead of playing Peggy as written, a traditional nagging sitcom wife, she transformed her into a campy, layered force of nature. That choice rewrote the rules of what women could be on television. After the series ended, many wondered if she'd be typecast, but Sagal did the opposite. She reinvented. She voiced the one-eyed mutant Leela in Futurama, where she delivered dry wit and emotional resonance through animation. Later, she took on a darker, more dramatic turn as Gemma Teller-Morrow in Sons of Anarchy, a matriarch whose power, grief, and moral ambiguity stunned critics and audiences alike. The performance earned her a Golden Globe and reintroduced her to a new generation. Professionally, Sagal became known for her range and work ethic. She moved seamlessly between comedy, drama, and voiceover. She wasn't just enduring in Hollywood, she was evolving. But while her career kept rising, her personal life told a parallel story, one marked by quiet struggle, deep grief, and hard-earned healing. Part 4. Personal Life and Off-Screen Truths. Behind the bold characters, Katey Sagal's life held private battles far more raw than any script. At 14, she was prescribed diet pills to manage her weight, an all-too-common practice at the time. That prescription marked the start of a 15-year struggle with addiction. Cocaine and alcohol became a way to silence pain and avoid emotions she wasn't ready to face. For years, she functioned through the fog, working, performing, and masking. But addiction doesn't stay hidden forever. Eventually, she sought recovery. It wasn't quick or simple, but it was deliberate. She did the work. She got clean. In the middle of filming Married with Children, Sagal became pregnant, a storyline the show embraced. But tragedy struck when she suffered a miscarriage in her third trimester. The loss devastated her. In a move that reflected deep sensitivity, the writers reworked the storyline as a dream sequence, allowing both the character and the actress space to grieve. It was one of the rare moments where real life shaped fiction, and the audience never forgot it. Years later, Sagal found love and partnership with Kurt Sutter, the writer and creator behind Sons of Anarchy. Their marriage wasn't just personal, it became professional. Working together on the gritty biker drama demanded boundaries, therapy, and constant communication. It wasn't always easy, but they made it work. Through all of it, addiction, grief, motherhood, marriage, Sagal remained grounded in truth. These weren't publicity stories. They were lived experiences, and they gave her performances a depth no script could teach. Part 5. In 2025, where is she now? At 71 years old in 2025, Katey Sagal continues to carry the kind of presence that doesn't fade with age. She's not in every new release or chasing headlines, but when she appears, whether in an interview, a reunion, or a rare guest role, she commands attention. Her voice, both literal and figurative, still resonates. Sagal occasionally revisits her musical roots, performing live when the mood strikes. She's spoken in recent years about the importance of creative freedom and has become an advocate for mental health and recovery awareness. She's not chasing relevance, she's choosing presence. That quiet kind of confidence speaks volumes. To this day, fans return to her characters. Leela's deadpan resilience, Gemma's ferocious complexity, Peggy's blazing defiance. But it's the woman behind them who lingers most. Not for perfection, but for truth. Sagal never played it safe. She played it real. And that's why, nearly 4 decades after she first popped onto screen with a smirk and a swagger, Katey Sagal still matters. Not just as a TV icon, but as a survivor, a shapeshifter, and a storyteller who never lost her voice. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to hit that subscribe button and turn on the bell so you never miss an update. I'd love to hear your thoughts, so drop a comment below and let's keep the conversation going. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.